August 1071 AD. The sun beats down on the dusty plains of Manzikert. A hot wind whips across the battlefield. Two massive armies stand poised, a clash of civilizations about to explode. On one side, the Byzantine Empire heirs to Rome, 1,000 years of legacy on their shoulders. On the other, the Seljuk Turks, a nomadic force rising from the east, hungry for conquest. This is no mere border skirmish, this is a clash of titans. The earth trembles. This is a day that will change the course of history. The Seljuk war drums pound a rhythm of impending doom. The Byzantine Emperor, Romanos IV Diogenes, sits astride his warhorse. He is surrounded by the elite Varangian Guard, Norse warriors sworn to protect the empire. His eyes scan the enemy ranks. He knows the stakes. Defeat is unthinkable. The Byzantine Empire, once a beacon of civilization, now faces a dire threat. The Seljuks, swift and fierce, have swept across the plains, their eyes set on new horizons. Byzantine soldiers prepare for the impending clash, sharpening swords and donning armor. Seljuk archers take aim, their arrows ready to fly. Leaders on both sides strategize, knowing that the outcome of this battle will shape the future. As dawn breaks, the stage is set for a confrontation that will echo through the ages. The clash begins, a whirlwind of chaos and intensity. Historical records will remember this day, the day the earth trembled. The aftermath will leave the landscape forever changed, a testament to the ferocity of the clash. Two great powers, their fates intertwined, their destinies forever altered. The ruins will stand as silent witnesses to the day the earth trembled. As the sun sets, the echoes of battle fade, but the impact of this day will resonate through history. For centuries, the Byzantine Empire had stood as a beacon of civilization in the East. Constantinople, its capital, was a shining jewel, a center of learning, art, and power. But the empire was old. It had been bled dry by endless wars. The lifeblood of its armies, the peasant soldier, had dwindled. In their place, expensive mercenaries filled the ranks. To the east, a new power was on the rise. The Seljuk Turks, fierce horsemen from the steppes of Central Asia, had embraced Islam. They were led by Alp Arslan, a brilliant tactician and a ruthless warrior. The Seljuks were a tidal wave, crashing against the aging walls of the Byzantine Empire. Manzikert was where the wave would break. The Byzantine Empire, once a vast and powerful entity, had seen its borders shrink over the centuries. Its navy, once dominant in the Mediterranean, struggled to maintain control of the seas. Internal strife and political intrigue further weakened the empire as emperors and generals vied for power. Meanwhile, the Seljuk Turks continued their expansion, controlling key trade routes and amassing wealth. Skirmishes between the Byzantines and Seljuks became more frequent, each side testing the other's strength. In response, the Byzantines attempted military reforms, but these were often too little, too late. Diplomatic efforts were made to stave off conflict, but trust was in short supply. As tensions escalated, both sides prepared for a decisive confrontation. The stage was set for the Battle of Manzikert, a clash that would alter the course of history. Romanos knew the Seljuks were a formidable foe. Their horse archers were unmatched, raining down arrows with deadly accuracy. He had to choose his battleground carefully. Manzikert, with its open plains, seemed to favor the Byzantine heavy infantry. But Romanos had been lured into a trap. Alp Arslan, a master of deception, had hidden the bulk of his forces behind nearby hills. The Byzantines, overconfident, marched into the waiting jaws of the Seljuk army. Initial skirmishes saw Byzantine scouts spotting Seljuk forces, leading to brief but intense clashes. The Byzantines formed defensive lines while Seljuk cavalry executed hit-and-run tactics, testing the Byzantine resolve. Romanos and his generals strategized, issuing commands to prepare for the inevitable clash. Meanwhile, Alp Arslan regrouped his forces, rallying his troops for another assault. The stage was set for a decisive battle, with both sides ready to fight valiantly for victory. The battle raged for hours. The Byzantine infantry, a wall of steel, held firm against the Seljuk onslaught, but the relentless arrows took their toll. Then a disastrous mistake. A rumor spread through the Byzantine ranks. The emperor was dead. Panic gripped the soldiers. Units began to break and flee. Romanos, still alive but abandoned by his army, fought on bravely. But it was hopeless. He was captured, brought before Alp Arslan. The emperor, humbled, offered a king's ransom. Alp Arslan, magnanimous in victory, spared his life. But the damage was done. Manzikert was a catastrophe. The Byzantine army, the shield of the empire, was shattered. The clash of swords and the cries of the wounded filled the air. Desperation set in as the Byzantine soldiers struggled to hold their ground. The Seljuk cavalry, swift and deadly, broke through the Byzantine lines. The retreat turned into a rout, with soldiers fleeing in all directions. Romanos, now in chains, faced the reality of his defeat. The battlefield, once a place of valor, was now a graveyard of dreams. The survivors mourned their fallen comrades, tending to the wounded amidst the ruins. The defeat at Manzikert marked the beginning of the end for the Byzantine Empire. History would remember this day as the moment the empire broke. The defeat at Manzikert was a seismic event. It cracked the foundations of the Byzantine Empire, leaving it vulnerable to further attacks. The Seljuks, sensing weakness, flooded into Anatolia. Within a generation, what was once the heartland of the Byzantine Empire was firmly in Turkish hands. The battle also helped to redraw the religious map of the region. The influx of Turks, devout Muslims, shifted the balance of power between Christianity and Islam in the eastern Mediterranean. The effects of Manzikert echoed down through the centuries. It weakened the Byzantine Empire, contributing to its eventual fall to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. It opened the door for the spread of Islam into Europe. The Battle of Manzikert, a clash of empires, a pivotal moment in history. A day the earth trembled and the world changed. The Byzantine Empire, once a dominant force, began to shrink significantly. Meanwhile, the Seljuk Turks expanded their territories, establishing a new power in the region. The shift in power also altered trade routes, impacting the economy of the region. The Seljuks fostered a rich cultural and intellectual environment, influencing the Islamic Golden Age. The Byzantine defeat also set the stage for the Crusades, as Western Europe sought to reclaim lost territories. The aftermath of Manzikert saw the rebuilding and transformation of cities under new rulers. The cultural exchange between the Byzantines and Seljuks left a lasting legacy in art and architecture. Today, the echoes of Manzikert can still be felt in the cultural and historical landscape of Anatolia.